So, good evening, everybody. Simon, do you want to do the technical things beforehand, or do we start right away? I'm Harm Smit. I'm the president of the ECBA, and we're doing this series of webinars in relation to sustainability and our role as biologists in there. But I'm going to leave this floor very quickly to leave it over, because we have Burak here, who is a swimming biologist, and we have Peter here, who is also a swimming biologist. So I would like to have Peter introduce Burak to all of you. Thank you, and enjoy. Peter?
Peter?
Yeah. Shall I start?
Yes, you can go.
Okay. So I hope you can see me on the camera. In the moment I'm on the phone, so it's a little bit of a problem. But let's try to start the webinar. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce a good friend of mine, Burak Ali Çiçek. He is assistant professor at the Eastern Mediterranean University, born 1973, and studied biology in Turkey, in Ankara, where he did his master and later on his PhD. And Burak is researching in the Mediterranean at the university, Eastern Mediterranean University in Cyprus. He's doing a lot of different things. He's a scientific diver, was leader of Underwater Imaging Institute, and is doing mapping of different species, seaweed, for example, Posidonia, which is very important for marine ecosystems. And he's also teaching, and is married to a school teacher. And so both are working for the environment of Cyprus and are very engaged in nature conservation. Cyprus is also important because Cyprus has a lot of sea turtles, and Burak is also doing projects with sea turtles, and is also offering for students internships where you can help the sea turtles go back to the sea and take care about the eggs. Well, and the last time, Burak is also doing a lot of projects for the government, and this is why we invited him, because biodiversity, conservation, marine conservation, and sustainability management is an important part of the United Nations Ocean Decade, which started in 2021 and is going up to 2030. The UN Ocean Decade is focused on the ocean we need and the ocean we want to have, and is a decade for the research we need, at least for the oceans. It's not focused on, let's say, science, which is highly reputed. It's the science we need, at least, to have nature conservation, to save our oceans, to save biodiversity in the oceans, and also in a lot of parts of the world to protect from marine mining, at least, which endangers the deep sea. Well, it's a pleasure for me to listen now to Burak. And Burak, if you'd like to say something more about you, so please do it. The floor is for you.
Just one thing. Welcome also, Burak. I have a few things also to say in the very beginning. So first of all, welcome everyone again from my side. And also, Burak, thanks a lot for your time and effort for the ECBA, and that you're speaking in our webinar series today. I wanted to say a few things about the Synopsis project also, and some technicalities for the webinar. So I just put it in the chat. So welcome, and please use the Q&A function of Zoom to direct all your questions to Burak. I will moderate the Q&A session a bit in the very end. So during the talk, you can already start typing your questions. If you see a question that you're interested in, just hit the like button and we will prioritize the questions according to their likes. Harm, do you want to say a few things about the ECBA?
Recording.
Right. Yeah, but the ECBA represents biologists in Europe. You all have local biology organizations, and the ECBA is the organization of organizations. So we unite the European biologists. As you may be aware of, that is a daunting task because biologists are extremely hard to organize. Yet we work very hard, and we have, not in every country, but in most countries, we have contacts. So we can run projects like this one, where we also try to involve other countries in working together. So that's what the ECBA does, is organizing and combining the biologists. And one of the main things we have, and that's for me personally, I always say I have been enabled, people have given me the opportunity to learn all this wonderful knowledge about biology. So now I have to give it back to society. And what better way to do it is not to be holding yourself back, but to be proud to be a biologist and act as such, because only then our needed voice can be heard. People will not listen to people sitting in the back. We have to be at the front, and we have to act as if we are proud, and we have to be proud because we have all this beautiful knowledge, and that can be used for a better future for you and for your children. So that's proud to be a biologist, the hashtag. There we go.
Perfect, thank you. And the future generations and how we can educate them well, this is all about in the Synapses project that the ECBA is also part of, and I'm the project manager of this project. So in Synapses, we will set up the Erasmus Plus School Heads and Teacher Training Academy, and we're teaching teachers basically for sustainability citizenship. And we want to transform learning spaces and help in the process of going into a greener future. So sustainability citizenship, just very briefly, what we defined it for us is it refers to the active and responsible engagement addressing environmental, social, and economic challenges of the future. It goes beyond being a passive recipient, but instead being an active participant. And a sustainability citizen is someone who understands these interconnectednesses and takes action for a positive and sustainable future. And we are still in the process of establishing this teacher training academy. We started building our own motivation and framework, and now we are building this Synapses portal that you can check out using the QR code here. We are evaluating and we do evaluation and accreditation of already existing material on sustainability and scientific literacy. And after we accredit certain material, we put it on our platform and try to help you find the resources you need in your classroom. And with this, I'm already also done with this little intro. You can also type anything in the chat box if you're interested in a certain topic for future webinars. Let us know. We're always happy for feedback. Also on the Synapses portal, if you want to give us feedback here, just write an email to my address. It's in the invitation you received from Zoom today. And with this, I'm happy, Burak, that you joined us, and I'm looking forward to an exciting talk of you.
Thank you. I'm so happy. I'm so excited at the same time. I'm together with my dear colleagues, dear friends. Thank you very much, Simon, Harm, Peter. It is very nice to see you again. I'm really very happy, excited, and I feel privileged because I'm going to talk in front of you. It is an important thing for me. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Let me share my screen. I'm getting older. I so often cannot get in touch efficiently with this equipments. If I
It's
make
all there. Don't worry.
if I make a mistake, please. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, coastal marine ecosystems and marine functional connectivity, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable management is our title. Okay. Yes. Who invited me? These three guys. My dear colleagues, and I felt very happy, as I told you, and excited. And I was thinking about this presentation, changing slides every time, trying to put everything. Then, okay, exclude something, not to bore people, and I will try not to bore all of you. I hope you will enjoy with the presentation. Thank you very much for ECBA again. ECBA is so precious for us. Again, I have to thank Harm and Peter because they are spending a lot of efforts for this. I'm in ECBA together with these two guys for maybe 15, 20 years. I don't remember. But okay, we are trying to help them. But okay, they are taking care of everything. So thank you very much again. And also, of course, synapses. Synapses. I try to understand what is it and what synapses is doing. Amazing. Accreditation of those programs will be very beneficial for youngsters in the society, as Harm emphasized. Okay, I had to provide information, short information about coastal zone. This understanding of coastal zone is different from people to people and geography to geography at the same time. When you are living in tropical zones, coastal zone is very complicated, but okay, they keep it limited. In order to say it briefly and summarize the issue, what I prefer every time, it is not only the sea, marine side, it also covers the land where this water have negative or positive effects on it. And many of the species, including monk seals, sea turtles, birds, etc., use both terrestrial and marine parts for their survival. So we cannot separate the land from the sea. We call it coastal zone, and it is the most complicated zone on Earth and the high diversity zone. So many of the marine biologists focus on coastal zone instead of deeper parts. But of course, deeper parts are lovely, many different creatures and impacts on nature, human life, whatever. But the main area is the coastal zone, and I'm going to talk about projects, mainly our projects mainly happening on the coastal zone. I have to also talk about sensitivity. Okay, in general, we teach relationships between organisms with simple figures, like in the middle of the screen. There are smaller organisms eaten by bigger organisms, and it goes on like this. But the relationship between all those organisms is very, very complicated. On the right, you can see the complexity of a very, very small pond in Ankara. It is one of my friend's PhD thesis, trying to understand the relationship, trophic relationships, in a very small pond, a very limited number of organisms. I don't remember exactly, but it was around 40 species. You can see the complexity. When you consider the Earth, the complexity is something still we couldn't solve exactly. So we have to look at the big picture. What should we do? We should behave sustainably. We should try to protect all of them because they have got relationships. But of course, in my career, we mainly focus on flag species or the species called as sensitive or protected or non-targeted. They, in general, go to the same place. And while I'm talking about my career, and many of the biology students who are related with marine works, coastal zone, and etc., they all, in Turkey and Cyprus, they all start with sea turtles because they are lovely creatures, and it is because of the focus, international scientific communities focus on sea turtles are always first. We are good in protecting the sea turtles, but we are still continuing this issue. What we are doing, let's not talk too much, but talk about the things what we are doing. We continuously every season check the sea turtles. The sea turtles, males and females, mate in the sea, and only the females come to the shore, to the beach, and they lay their eggs. What we do here, especially the beaches in Mediterranean, not only in Cyprus and Turkey, occupied by human beings because of especially the lovely summer season is amazing in Mediterranean, but okay, it is overlapping the season of sea turtles hatchlings. So what we do in the first sense, try to protect them against human beings and the side effects of human beings, like human beings like to have dogs, and dogs like to dig the nests. In Cyprus, although we are trying not to put people with their cars to the beaches, they intend to go there. They do not obey the rules, whatever. Continuously, our volunteers try to find the nests, protect them with cages, whatever, and inform the people. Uh, we are successful in this means. The success rates are increasing. Now we can say that we are protecting 85% of all the nests on the shore. What we do, we also gather scientific information because we are scientists. We earn our money from these publications, and these publications are so important in order to understand their behavior and increase our conservation efforts. We learn too much in time. Their intervals, timings, temperature dependency, whatever, many information. We gather all, but at the same time, we have fun. We also send those hatchlings to the sea. What we also do is we follow them. This is very important because at the beginning of my presentation, I'm going to talk about the projects, the activities that we are doing in Cyprus, Turkey, but mainly on our coastal zone. Then in the second phase, I'm going to talk about, continue to talk about connectivity. And these studies are very important in this connectivity studies. What we do, we also put satellite trackers to the sea turtles coming to our shores. What we find, okay, the map on the right is from 2012. We call the lady, the female, a peace ambassador because, okay, we put the tag on Famagusta. She first went to the South Cyprus, which there are political problems between South and North of the Cyprus. Then go to Israel, then other Arabic countries and traveled. We follow these females' movements from satellite. Now we are dealing with around 600 satellite transmitters, and we gather their data. And I'm going to show the map from Mediterranean, how beautiful map that we gathered from these efforts. But of course, these things, one satellite transmitter cost us 5,000 pounds. So we are putting them on top of those organisms. It is not harming the organism, but okay, it lasts for 1 year. Then you lose it. So our projects are costly, very costly, but gathering good information. This is one of them. I'm going to gather all of them later, as I told you. The other important and lovely species, which we also focus on and try to protect them and gather scientific information, is the monk seal, Mediterranean monk seal. The population is highly decreasing. Their protection level is the highest. Sea turtles are getting higher populations, but monk seals, it's a problematic issue, the monk seals. What we do, we again here try to understand their life cycles, how they increase their population. I mean, we put cameras, traps, as we say, and try to observe them. With the monk seal issue, we do not touch them too much. We do not put satellite transmitters, transceivers, whatever, and we do not tag them because the population is around 1,000. Okay, in general, Turkey, what we say, 600 to 900. Let's say only 1,000 individuals are left in the Mediterranean. The most successful area is, Antonio is not here together with us, his island, close to Madeira. They are protecting the monk seals very efficiently, but their island is out of Mediterranean in Atlantic. Not only those flag species, very lovely species, but according to one study in 2008, it was my study, I found around 80 to 90 important, probably I gave the numbers, but okay, the screen is just over there, and 82. 82 is listed here. 82 species are close to sensitivity level, which means is going to be highly protected by IUCN, WCMC, or EU regulations, and etc. So their populations are also decreasing because of heavy fisheries. As I told you, we do not focus on individuals. Of course, we continue our work with sea turtles, monk seals, that specific organisms, important organisms. But okay, it is more important to protect their habitats and the ecosystem, of course. It is not, we find this, Natura 2000 in EU level is very efficient. There are small gaps in the process, but okay, European Union countries, member countries, moved a lot with this protection. In Cyprus, we applied the same Natura 2000 regulations in our lands. What we did, I didn't, it is there, but again, it is under the, there are 5 areas on the coastal zone in northern part of Cyprus that are listed, de facto listed as Natura 2000 areas. What we did, we use remote sensing data, satellite data, and discriminate the colorings and find especially Posidonia oceanica and important rocky habitats and convert those information to GIS and produce habitat maps of those 5 areas. The sample here is South Karpas, SEPA, specially protected area. We were so efficient with this mapping, scientific study. It was really very detailed and successful. But what happened? What happened? Because of the political issues, because of the um, uh, people who are governing the earth are not biologists. These protection efforts, these beautiful studies, didn't turn into real regulations, and still those documents are not applied in North Cyprus. What we are doing, as I told you, deal with the species, but habitat mapping mainly. As Peter emphasized, this UN Ocean Decade is important, and I'm so happy with UN and European Union is supporting this kind of efforts, and we receive support. This Natura 2000 was EU in Cyprus, and in Turkey we receive support from United Nations for our studies. We define habitat maps in Gökova region. Again, here we find 6 important areas, map all the areas, and restrict fisheries. And it's a kind of not directly marine protected area, but restricted area or reserve, marine reserve, announced as marine reserve in Turkey level. Another study in a closed area, Ayvalık, Turkey, we did, again with the support of United Nations. It was a GEF small amount projects, but important. Again, we go there in order to map mainly Posidonia oceanicus. But while we are mapping Posidonia oceanicus, I didn't know that the area was amazing. Peter, we should go and dive there because, okay, the corals are amazing. So we find that there are corals which are, okay, I can say maybe more important than Posidonia because I love Posidonias, but okay, corals are amazing there. And by means of protecting Posidonia oceanica, we were able to define anchoring regions, buoys, and etc., and contribute to their conservation and protection. So these kind of studies also good when they turn to management. Management is another issue, another level. We scientists, at least in Cyprus and Turkey, provide information, but okay, we are not so efficient, at least as we want, so efficient in designing all those management rules. But in this case, it worked and because of the personal communication and etc., we were able to announce many areas as protected, marine protected zones. At the same time, as I told you, in this ECBA project, we focus on Posidonia oceanica mainly, but at the same time, when we announced the lands as marine protected zones, we also stop bycatch, which is happening with fisheries. Another study, I'm going step by step, individual approach, habitat management, and okay, we started in 2009, but okay, still we couldn't finish because our infrastructure is not enough to deploy our big artificial reefs. We deploy smaller ones, but okay, we are waiting for a big vessel to do it. I'm still trying to catch up with this issue, begging the officials to have one big vessel to put them. And they promised me to bring this big vessel in 2025, after 15 years. Okay, we go through all steps of the project. There were 6 steps, the 6 activities in project proposal. We did 5, but the last one, deploying the biggest artificial reefs, is not completed now, but going to complete in 2025, hopefully. But what we are doing here is we, after management, designing and dealing with the regulations, whatever at the local level, we also deal with biorestoration, biomanipulation, or bioengineering. Okay, I couldn't choose the word. I check internet. There are similar things, but okay, here Harm and Peter should find and define a terminology for this issue. Here, okay, here what we are doing, we understand, manage the things around, but now we are deploying artificial reefs, changing. It's a kind of engineering, isn't it? You have to talk, and I can drink water. Harp.
Oh, Peter, you can better than I can. Artificial reefs. Yeah, that's nature management, conservation management. It's just supporting, yeah, nature. Peter, you know more about it than I do.
Yeah, it depends on the species where you focus on, because if you have poor sandy areas or sludge areas, it's very important to have the hard rock reefs, artificial reefs. You can build them with concrete material, you can build them with the type of inert garbage, and you can try to install habitats, for example, for octopus or for special fish who are important, which are important for these ecosystems. You can manage the fauna and the flora there, and can see also how these habitats are growing. And this is also important because when we go diving, we normally observe habitats which are very grown up, and they last for 50, 60, 70 years, something like that. And if they degrade very rapidly. And here you can see a habitat growing, and this is also for, it's very important for studies, for example, for installation of marine habitats or sanitation of marine habitats. Also in things, because human beings are destroying a lot of nature, and here we can see how we can rebuild the nature, and we can also see that we never are able to rebuild nature as it was, but we just can reach kind of percents, let's say 20, 30, 50, something like that, but never 100% of the real nature.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much. Here, in this case, iskele, sustainable fisheries and artificial reefs, the issue was what we find, the area that fishermen are using for catching fish is the same, overlapping the area with the sea turtle mating area. So what we did, okay, one fisherman, Ismail Bey, find me and said that, okay, he was so angry at the beginning, and he told me that your turtles are damaging my nests, and I have got 3 kids. I have to provide food for them and money for them. And I said, okay, they are lovely animals. Please do not kill them because, okay, when they are stuck in the nest in 2, 3 hours, they die because, okay, they are drowned. They have got lungs. On the other hand, in many cases, in the past, not now, they used to be catch alive, but the fishermen were killing them because, okay, they used to hate them. What we did, we say, okay, we are going to, if you accept, we are going to arrange you an artificial reef in a different area. As you said, Peter, the area is sludge and sandy, which is not rocky area, valuable habitat. And you are going to catch fish there and leave this green zone in the map, green zone, to the sea turtles. Would you like this idea? I asked the fishermen at the meeting in the fisherman shelter, the photo. They said, yes, okay, of course. Then we started, and European Union supported us a lot. And what we did, not only the artificial reef, but at the same time, a cooperative for fishermen. Because when you talk with those people, you can analyze their needs and their problems. We analyzed that the main problem was not the sea turtles. The main problem was they are catching the fish. The middleman was the problem because they were catching the fish, and the middleman go and buy the fish from one unit, 1 lira, let's say Turkish lira, and selling in the market 10 lira. So what we did, we take this middleman out from the system. You can see the photo over there, and behind there is a small, tiny structure. We demolished that structure and built a big fish market over there for fishermen, and they start selling their own fish by themselves. And then constructed a insurance system for them. When a damaged nest provided to the market, the fisherman market, the fisherman market automatically should give the damaged nest to the fisherman who provided the damaged one. And then it worked. Everything was good, but okay, still the fishermen sometimes they say that, okay, where is our big reefs? We put small reefs against fishermen not to go close to the shore where sea turtles are moving. But okay, they are still expecting their big reefs because European Union didn't let us to put those big reefs because of the infrastructure. It was dangerous, and we needed a bigger vessel. We are waiting for it. So biology also helps society. Proud to be biologist. Again, restoration and manipulation. It started newly in 2020. We were discussing this issue with Peter in Basel. Also, I informed him that I'm going to do this and etc. It was so problematic because what we did is we use big vessels and cranes, and it was a private company, YK Energy Company, and trying to support sustainability because they are using low quality coal. Some of the friends criticized me, saying that you are making, there's a specific term, green laundry, something like that. What's that?
Greenwashing.
Greenwashing, yes, greenwashing. Not laundry. Laundry is a higher level, probably. Washing is good.
Money laundering.
Yes, I mixed two terms. So greenwashing can be, but what we did, we start transplanting big Posidonia oceanica meadow mats with their mats, because okay, we also try and efficiently did with the seedlings, small seedlings, whatever. But okay, this is new for Turkey. It was applied in France and probably Italy, and Peter may know better than me which countries applied that. But with this application, we find that it was okay. The first transplantation occurred 14 months ago. So still they are very healthy. So it means that we are successful. But okay, it was not easy because okay, all those cranes and equipments and etc. cost a lot of money. The reason why we are transplanting and trying to understand if they survive or not is because in Turkey, it's a developing, so-called developing country. I'm not going to make any comments in this issue. It is something else. But developing country, let's say, okay, you cannot stop investors. You cannot stop people building ports, big hotels just close to the seashore. Nobody listens to you, especially in the western part of the Mediterranean. Okay, all the coastal zone is occupied with constructions, whatever. Okay, what we are trying to do is to protect some of the components of the biodiversity and the habitat and etc. So you cannot stop this ports and developments and etc. So we are trying to understand if we can move them to another place, and we can, if we can, increase the meadows with these methods. We are also going to deal with the seedlings and the seeds, and also tissue engineering if we can do it in the future. Another activity that we are doing, we are combating with invasive species. Now, it was reported 2 days ago, I was in another meeting, around 300 big macro species entered from Suez channel. Okay, two were deadly, amazing. Siganus rivilatus, which is an herbivorous fish, entered in the past 1950s or something, or maybe older. But okay, it is adapted to the system. We are adapted to those fish, no problem. But these two pufferfish, Lagocephalus scleratus, and in this photo you can see Torquigener flamicosus, and lionfish, they are deadly. This pufferfish is very active in the Posidonia oceanica or meadows, all types of meadows and soft substratum types. And lionfish is very active in the rocky parts, reef parts of the Mediterranean. So from two sides, they are, what is the negative sides? Main negative side of those two fishes, their populations are tremendously increasing, especially pufferfish. It eats everything it finds. Okay, directly eats the other organisms is a negative issue, but at the same time, it's the food of the other fish. So, and it is not consumed because it contains TTX, tetrodotoxin, poison in its tissues. What we did, try to do it with a Canadian company. I cannot give the name, but okay, we collected the Lagocephalus scleratus individuals, approximately 5,000 individuals, and try to take with provocation, take their TTX and send to Canada in order to be used for trials of painkillers, which mainly cancer patients going to be used. But okay, it was not very successful, so we couldn't get rid of pufferfish. We put some regulations in our local regulations. What we are paying the fishermen whenever they bring the individual coming from the sea. A little money, but okay, fisherman is happy. So we are trying to eradicate. But of course, it is not easy. With the lionfish, the meat is consumed, and what we did, we emphasize, we create recipes for people and promote fishers to catch them with spearfishing, and we allow spearfishing of those individuals with scuba apparatus under control of animal husbandry department, which is today we are trying to understand their population, doing estimating studies and etc. We see that we are not so bad, not successful directly, but at least keeping their population level in a line. In addition, with combating with invasive species, especially pufferfish, lionfish, hunting and etc., as I mentioned you, but combating with invasive species, pufferfish, it's a new study, and my assistant Mustafa started with this. We are going to use metabarcoding in order to understand the diet of the pufferfish, because this metabarcoding is commonly used in discrimination of the organisms, the new technique, and very efficient. Now we are trying to understand where this TTX comes, because we did studies, and especially two studies says that there are symbiotic bacteria, especially symbiotic bacteria, increases the TTX level of the pufferfish. What we can do, I do not know, but okay, at least if we can understand the diet and the synergistic relationships between those two, we may convert this pufferfish to a consumable level, if we can. I don't know, or at least we are going to understand these relationships, because it is consumed in China and Japan under super controlled environments, in artificial environments. It is edible there. So we are going to apply all those sampling, DNA isolation, PCR, and try to identify the contents, and then carry this analysis to ecological level and understand where this TTX is coming, if we can do something with this. Yes. So not only me, but many of my colleagues, not only in Cyprus and Turkey, in Greece, Israel, Egypt, and etc., doing many things at the coastal zone, because okay, it is the most precious part of the ocean. But the issue is they have got connections, populations. I mentioned about our turtles. They are not our turtles. They just nest in Cyprus, but then we find that, then turn back to Gabes, Gulf of Gabes in Tunisia, or the turtles nesting in the south side of Cyprus. My colleague Andreas, he is also putting satellite transmitters, and their turtles are going to Egypt. So if we can find these connections, if we can find these relationships in the Mediterranean, then we can go through better protection and conservation. So we started this with the support of, again, European Union. It's a cost action. The project is Sea Unicorn. I didn't. Audrey Danade from France started that, and I joined later in working group 3 with Maria Begar. I'm going to inform about her also. But the motivation is identifying connected priority conservation areas in the Eastern Mediterranean at the beginning. Then we find that they are connected in the whole Mediterranean. What we were aiming, spatial conservation planning, support dispersal and migratory linkages, and disrupt the spread of invasive species, if any, and if we can. So what I did, I tried to collect data, because there's another issue. Many of the colleagues, not all, but many of the colleagues try to keep their data in their hands because they are valuable, because they are going to be used in publications, whatever. We do not say that, okay, to give us original data, but after publication, still some of the researchers, people do not want to come and share data, but some start sharing, and we start improving our maps that I'm going to show. So wherever I go, Peter invited me to Basel. I went there, and I was a beginner at that moment, Peter. I was not, my poster was not lovely like today's posters, but I'm going to different areas and announcing that we need people to support us. The geographical coverage with the initial group at the beginning, it was Eastern Mediterranean to cut off between Kalamata and Benghazi. You can see the GFCM subregions here also. So we didn't want to cut these areas because it's man-made, artificial, cover whole basin. Then we change it and convert it to all Mediterranean, because we find that with the initial material, the telemetry data, the satellite flags, it extends beyond Eastern Mediterranean. And we have highly mobile species like whales, dolphins, monk seals, and sea turtles, etc. So for the data coverage, we start collecting dispersal and migratory data. Can be physical, molecular, or genetic telemetry modeling. We start using all of them. Published and available data, but should have extensive geographical coverage. So the things that I mentioned you before was local, too much local. But combination of those local data will work. So we start calling people from all around the Mediterranean. And first, we start to use sensitive and charismatic species like turtles, monk seals, and etc. Plague species, because, as I told you at the beginning, these kind of activities need money, support. And which species can find support? These sea turtles, monk seals, this charismatic species. What were the steps that we applied? Make planning units appropriate to fit a typical MPA size. Turn tracks, polygons into shape files in GIS. then overlay with the planning units, create a file that tell us the track planning unit relationship. What is that relationship? It's a little bit mathematics, but lovely, not high level. Create connectivity matrices that combines all tracks, put the matrix into Marks and Connect. We are at this level, and probably in December we are going to finish this also. And habitats and other specialized layers like boat traffic and physical changes, chlorophyll from satellite imageries and etc. And the data layers, first Posidonia oceanica, but coming from the available data. As you can see, some of the research put there, the available data. As you can see, it is not easy because not all places are studied in detail. Sea turtles, I'm talking about sea turtles and satellite telemetry. It was the beginning with 42 individuals, and you can see the map around Cyprus. There is no Cyprus. Okay, some of the plots are wrong because of the satellite imagery. We are cleaning them and using them. Now we are more efficient at collecting data in all Mediterranean. Angel sharks coming from available data again. Angel sharks, this time Scutina aculata, another one, where they are found dispersed. Cetaceans, Delphinus delphis. But here I have to emphasize that they can be found other places also. But okay, it should be scientifically recorded. So the limitation comes from there. Cetaceans, Grampus griseus, Zipius caviorostiris, Globicephala melas, Orchines orca. It's very limited in Mediterranean. Physeter, Balenoptera physalus. Again, Balenoptera, this time track from only one telemetry data. And when you put all data on top of it, this is totally a simple GIS now. You can see how colorful map you receive. With the marks and analysis, we are going to analyze all these overlapping areas. But simply, when you look at it from top, the picture, you can see that there are some hotspots in the circles and connections, the blue lines. Okay, there are also other lines between hotspots in the western part of Mediterranean also. But okay, while it is not scientifically proved yet, Maria didn't let me to put those lines because I'm Turkish. We sometimes put something whenever we want, okay? But Maria, she's German, and she said, no, everything should be totally scientific and proved. I'm obeying her because, okay, she's amazing, at least 3 times more clever than me. So, but you can see this colorful map. Where is this current protection? This is all what we received until now. International protection I'm talking about. You can see I mentioned about Ayvalık, Gökova is included here. You cannot see it. It's a very tiny place in this big map. But Ayvalık is not there. Iskenderun is not there. Adana is not there. Turkey, I know Turkey very well. Every meter of the coastal zone. There should be many other areas included into international conservation and protection. Local approaches is not working very efficiently. This is the current protection, legal protection that we have. And when we put our first findings over there, some of the circles, especially in the western part, is fitting. Because, okay, the western part, Italy, France, Spain, the part Germany is there also, working at least researchers from. They are efficient. And I have got huge respect to them. But okay, especially when you look at the eastern part, it can be political, it can be because of lack of capacity, lack of funding, whatever, it is lacking. But okay, it is awful because all those populations or hotspots are connected. So current connectivity studies is not including everything. Maria Beger also work for those, but not working. The other studies, I know those guys, they are really very good researchers. But okay, when researchers have no data, they cannot put forward the real picture in front of all of us. And they intend to not show because they are not certain. This is another issue, but okay, it should be like this. But we are losing time. Another problem, as I mentioned you, invasive species. There are many. They are coming. Winter is coming from Suez Channel. As you can see the heat map over there in the middle, you can see we are under influence of invasive species. What is the approach? If we can protect our own species, predators mainly, then we can deal with that problematic species more easily. The main challenge is limited available spatial data, because until now we focus on our own environments, our local places, as I did. Ayvalık, Yakova, whatever. Now, the technology is developing. European Union is there. We are now more educated. So we have to combine forces, increase data, especially spatial data, and find most important parts and at least protect those parts more efficiently. We started and we invite everybody to these efforts. And there are other technical challenges, but we are going to overcome that. Different types of data do not match each other in many times, but it is not important. We are overcoming that issue. Next steps, more mathematics, collate more tracking data, create connectivity matrices, mark some with connectivity analysis will be applied, and test scenarios, habitats, animal tracks, habitats, invasive habitats, both, whatever, in order to find good and bad connectivity, in order to determine important additional conservation priority areas, and include anything else, everything else. We are working on this issue, as I mentioned you. This map is updated today by my assistant. Oh, okay, this is the old version. Now it covers all Mediterranean. This is only turtle map and applied to planning units, as I mentioned you at the beginning of this project. So now you can see the number 116. Now we reach to 300. More scientists are enrolling to our activities. The expected outputs is better understanding and better protection for all species, because human activities are increasing. Not only constructions and so vice versa, but also the marine traffic, other activities they have all negative impacts on fauna and flora. So Maria is here. She's amazing. Exactly German. And making me work too much for her, using me as a slave to collect data to her. Oh, she's so nice. If you are willing to join any of the activities Simon mentioned at the beginning, you can join us as a volunteer. Peter also mentioned you can join us as a volunteer. If you have money, you can support us, especially with this metabar coding. We need a lot of money because it is so expensive. And please mail me, or you can reach to Harm, Peter. They all know, and Simon, they all know my contact details. Uh, we should come together and protect all together. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Burak.
Well done. Thank you for a passionate plea for cooperation on behalf of our future generations. And biologists are not politicians, but we should be.
But Burak, meanwhile, is a TV star and is doing science and policy in one person. Unfortunately, only in Turkish. Unfortunately, only in Turkish, not in English.
Yeah, yes.
But you know your way into the English Parliament. I've seen that, so you're good.
Thank you very much. It's a long story. Did you mention about all those things to Simon?
No. Well, perhaps one or two people, but not not now.
Yes, not now.
Yeah. Any questions in the?
We do have a question. Do you have Caulerpa taxifolia problem there? I think this was coming up with the invasive species. If so, how do you manage it?
Simon, thank you very much. It was a question from the audience.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have got a paper about that. It was, I don't remember the exact date, but 15 years ago, Caulerpa appeared in North Cyprus at the Karpas Peninsula on the tip of the island. We didn't do anything. We just, scientists, publish it, that we have it. Then it disappeared. Now, some of the divers so often see them, but okay, the species didn't cover areas too much. Taste.
Okay. So you found it once and then never again.
Yes, I didn't go and dive there. Maybe if we go there, we can find them again. But okay, the other areas I'm continuously diving, and no
Okay.
Caulerpa taxifolia in the waters of Cyprus. And in Turkey, no, I didn't see it again.
Okay. Speaking of invasive species, I saw you showed the map with invasive species coming from the Suez Canal, going the eastern part of the Mediterranean, and like is this that you're very good at tracking invasive species? Because it seemed that the way around Turkey is very reddish, and then towards the Western Mediterranean it was not that extensive. Is this something that the invasive species, they go along the coastline and just spread this way, or can you comment on that?
Yeah. There was a manuscript 3 days ago. I accepted it, but the other referee didn't accept it because he probably didn't like the taxonomy identification of the organism. I'm not going to tell the organism whatever, but okay, it was depending on the same issue. You're right. we are so effective in some specific areas and recording, observing, and publishing. Some other areas, there is no enough amount of scientific effort to observe and publish and etc. So probably we are missing too much. But on the other hand, the environmental conditions are more appropriate in these regions. It is most probably is related with temperature. In the western parts, it is colder, but the eastern part is more hot, which is similar to Suez Channel and the Red Sea.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Peter may comment also. I don't know if he studied there, but
Yeah, we have observed lionfish, for example, also in the Western Mediterranean, and they come from the southern part and go to the northern part, but there seems to be a temperature limit for them. But
yes.
This question leads us to another question, Burak. We are talking, meanwhile, about temperatures in the Mediterranean. Not only the sea surface, which is very hot and became hot within the last 5 years, because most of the global warming was more or less concentrated in the upper layers of the ocean. Meanwhile, we have temperatures down to 30 meters, for example, in the Western Mediterranean in November, 26 degrees down to 30 meters. And I think you will have the same problem. Can you see any effects in the moment by reducing biodiversity in your coastal waters?
Peter, you are totally right. It is especially last 5 years, as you mentioned, the temperatures in the lower levels is increasing. We are observing, especially some specific species, they disappeared. We do not. I can. This Siganus rivulatus. Normally, it is another invasive species, but okay, it entered the Mediterranean approximately 100 years ago. So it became local, let's say. Now, Siganus rivulatus and luridus, Siganus luridus, both is very, very limited in the coastal zone in Cyprus. Most probably it's because of that. Thalassomo pavo, Scania umbra also. But we still have groupers. Groupers not impacted yet, probably. But what happened? Another issue, another important issue, the parasites increasing. Especially with the groupers, the number of parasites, different types of parasites, increased. But there was a huge discussion on this with related with pufferfish. I was in Paris 2 years ago, and we discussed it with Israeli colleagues. They are saying that the decrease in the biodiversity levels in the eastern part is related with temperature too much, but also emphasize the impact of pufferfish, because okay, pufferfish is eating everything. Do not let any other individual to survive or find food, whatever. But of course, it is a synergistic issue. Increasing temperature, new species find available niches in the environment and eradicate everything, then fluctuations also.
Burak, let's talk a little bit about corals. You showed an amazing picture from Gorgonias. And let's talk a little bit about our ideas that we have found some data that might show that there was a genetic modification. We have the same species, at least in northwestern part of the Mediterranean, living in shallow waters between, let's say, 5 or 10 meters down to 20 or 30 meters. And we have some species, same species at least, living down to 50, 60, 70 meters, where it's really cold, below the thermocline. And maybe that these both species, one is Oenicella and the other one is the red Gorgonia. Do you think that there might be an adaptation to increasing temperatures, so that some in the northern part they could live in shallow waters in getting which are getting warmer, and the other ones go deeper in the south because they are used, or they are a little bit more comfortable with warmer waters? Do you think this is a adaptation at least, or maybe we have two parts of the same species living in shallow waters, in the hotter waters, or warmer waters and colder waters, deeper water?
It is a very good question, Peter. We have to work on it because most probably it is related with that adaptation, and I really want to analyze their genetic structure. We should do it. And we are almost ready. Our laboratories are almost ready. We are getting support from Professor Dr. Emre Keskin from Ankara University. He has got an amazing laboratory, and we can immediately proceed. But we should.
Yeah, it's a good idea for citizen science and collaboration also with fishermen, because fishermen destroy a lot of the corals. And they bring them up as bycatch, and we could use this bycatch. And on the other hand, we have colleagues working on restoration of corals. So they hatch at least the small corals, and the divers bring them up out, and we hope that they will survive in nature. And we already don't know what are the real effects, whether they survive or they die. We have experience from Portugal, for example. They are really successful in hatching. Also a group in Spain, but in Italy and the rest of the Mediterranean, there are only a few guys working in restoration of corals. But I think we have to, before we have to understand how they function and how they are adapted in temperatures.
Exactly. We should not proceed before understanding the baseline. You're right.
Yeah.
Talking about baselines, in vegetation research, they combine data from satellite data with observations on the ground. So they can make a wider use of the observations from satellites, but you need also on the ground observations.
Ground truth, yes, we applied. Probably I didn't mention about that. And okay, when you show the map, RS map or GIS map, okay, people think that it is so easy. You receive the image from the satellite. No, you have to go to the field. And for the map that I show you, it was South Karpatepe. We collected around 300 ground truth coordinates.
Yes. And can you then also do, because there's a guy here doing random forest walks, the analysis on your data to fish out abnormalities in your data. So that's what they use for vegetation. But it's more a statistical hobby.
Yeah, of course.
They tend to find to also test hypotheses by means of these advanced statistical techniques. And one other question: if we can do a gene drive on a mosquito, can we do it on a pufferfish?
You can.
Yeah. Well,
Good idea.
yeah.
Okay. There should be many youngsters, educated people. They should think about that.
Yes. We have new tools to play with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That's also why we need a lot of new ideas, because as you mentioned, satellite imaging and satellite data, you can use satellite data very perfect for farming, for example, or for in the Amazonas basin to show where agriculture is and where the forests are growing, where wet areas and dry areas are, and so on. But in the Mediterranean or in the sea, you can't look down very far, so only a few meters at least. And this gives you only the opportunity to do the mapping of the shallow regions of the coastal waters,
Yes.
and not down to 20 or 30 or 50 meters and so on.
Yeah.
And that was also very nice in the image, that the corals, which I think will be 30 meters deep or something like that. It was almost dark, and Burak used the torch to
Yes.
so that's why we are limited, at least. So satellite data is perfect for areas in the open ocean, for the surface areas, but not for these questions we have to answer in biodiversity, at least in our coastal regions.
Prior to recording, you have to drain the Mediterranean Sea. Then you will get a good readout.
You are from Holland. You play with.
Exactly. We know all about that. Yes.
Burak, if I may, I have two questions. Coming back to the success stories you told us, the first question is about you talked about marine protected zones that you were very efficient in introducing because of, you mentioned personal contacts. You know, to get an idea, you know, I know scientists, they collect data, they show data, usually to the scientific community. But here, you made a difference by showing your data to the right people, right? So can you tell us more, or other researchers maybe, how this was different from the other research projects, or how you addressed the different people, apparently the right ones?
Okay, if I understand correctly, and the things in my mind, in Ayvalık, okay, it depends on the person that you are communicating with. Okay, I know yes, Peter, I know Cyprus and Turkey examples. If you have, if your frequency, your chemistry matches with person in a good level, not highest level, but okay, a person in the government, especially government, but sometimes municipalities, whatever. If your relationship goes well and the person starts understanding you and feels the same that you are thinking, then the person starts working for this issue, listens to you, you share, and okay, there is another very important thing that I learned. Sometimes at the beginning, let's say, I used to think that I know everything. I'm a biologist. Sea turtles are important for me, and I want to protect them. I want to protect all of them at the beginning. Then I realized that there are other parameters, other human beings, other disciplines, other approaches. So I try to increase my capacity in this manner, try to understand all of them. And whenever I talk with these people in this government, in this key positions, let's say, this is very important, key position. There are, especially in Turkey, in our government, there are people, not very high level, but okay, everybody listens to them. When you reach that person, and give the medicine. Then they apply the same to the others, and in time you achieve this. But okay, you have to communicate with people. At the beginning, as I told you, I was so angry with the locals in Patara region, Antalya, because okay, in 1991 I started as a volunteer student to protect sea turtles. Um, I was so angry with the fishermen over there, and I argued, shouting at them. And now, whenever an fisher comes towards me and says that I like to kill your turtles, I do not shout. I start smiling, and let's talk, I say, and then start communicating with those people. Of course, so often I feel tired. So often I stop communication. This season, it was 3 months ago. I argued with a restaurant owner because, okay, I repeat the same 3 times. Please do not open those huge lights towards the sea during this hatchling season. I beg him. I said, please, I'm going to bring hatchlings to your customers and show and say that this restaurant owner is protecting the sea turtles, and I will announce in the Facebook everywhere that this restaurant is environmental friendly, whatever. I tried everything, but okay, he didn't listen, and I shouted a little bit like in the old times. But okay, in general, I'm not like this, and try to communicate and make people understand and respect to the other disciplines also. It is very important in communication. Uh, so in Ayvalık, I find the person, he did everything. I'm just a scientist, providing information to them. I realize that. The other guys, if they apply it, use it or not, depends on them. Yes.
All right, but then you also seem to be a very practical person because, you know, as you just described, I wanted to make another point, but as you just described, you go to restaurant owners and beg them and just, you know, you bring them systems, how they can even promote their restaurant or whatever business they have in order to protect what is important to you and also to humanity. And I wanted to come back to your biorestoration or bioengineering, or I don't know which terminology we all agree on.
Harm and Peter will find the most proper term. Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
But this project also, it showed, you know, it's not enough to just show what is important to actually have an impact, but you brought about the change by reducing human intervention, not just by educating people, but by thinking about something that, you know, making this fish market, it was probably a really simple solution to this very also human problem, because, you know, people need to eat, people need fish, but this has, and I really love that in your talk that you showed that, you know, sometimes it needs practical solutions for the problems that we have. And this is actually the one step that sometimes humanity is still missing. So this was rather a comment than a question, because I really liked your approach and how you showed this to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Then if we have no further questions, I think we have come sadly to the end. Yeah. So we have to find a way to meet each other again and continue this discussion.
I invite everybody to Cyprus.
Yes, I know.
Perfect.
Yes. We might just accept that, so beware.
Yes.
And I want to thank everybody else who is still here listening to the comments, because I think in the end, as Simon pointed out, there's not only about being right, but about getting it right is a far more complex task than just shouting at each other. So in the end, this is already the second time or the third time we get a policy lesson at the end of the lecture. So thank you very much, Burak.
Thank you. It was my pleasure, totally.
En dan teşekkür ederim. Yeah.
Nice. All right,
Thank
then
you.
have
Okay.
a nice evening, everybody. Thanks
Okay.
again for joining. Thanks, Burak. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Harm.
Yeah.
Bye. Güle güle. Güle güle.
Bye-bye.
Bye.